Pikachu?
So, whilst I was completing my last video of Can You Beat Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu with a Magikarp, I was also actually getting on with my next project on the train, and this time it involved Pokemon Soul Silver. The Gen 2 games were in my opinion some of the best of the bunch and had a huge impact on me as a child, with the day-night features, the new Pokemon, and the introduction of post-game material. So I've decided to beat the game with just one of my favourite Pokemon, Totodile, the hyperactive crocodile Pokemon. As always, there are rules I have to follow, but these are slightly different from the last time. I can only use Totodile for the majority of the game except when double battles occur. No items at all can be used during a battle, not even held items, which is massive in a challenge like this. No trades. Now when it comes to HM slaves, my rule is if Totodile can learn the move, he has to learn it himself, and not HM slave. And that's pretty much it. And with that, the challenge is set and the next chapter of my life begins. I start the game once again as HPT. Also, I've only recorded the top screen as well, because the bottom screen of the DS doesn't actually show a hell of a lot. So I shrink down and go downstairs, and my mum gets in my face immediately and tells me where the lab is. It's right next door. Seriously, how stupid did you think I am? This place is only made up of 3 buildings, so I'm gonna kind of assume I know where I'm going. Before I go to the lab, I meet Lyra and her Marill, who just piss off without even saying anything, not even hello. I then see Professor Elm and listen to him babble on as well. I get asked to meet Mr. Pokemon, original name, but to do this I will need a partner to go on the errand as well. Obviously Elm has not heard of UPS or Deliveroo. I pick my new best friend in the whole world, Totodile, and call him Snapper. I wanted to call him Leatherface, but this was the back in the day of 10 characters, so it wouldn't fit. Unlike the run with Wanda the Magikarp, Snapper will listen to me throughout the whole journey, thank God. He has a hardy nature, which means all the stats are neither up or down. I'm happy to go with this because I can't be bothered going through the intro each time to get an adamant nature. Using a save state before picking Totodile doesn't actually change the outcome as it's already set when you start a new game. So I try to leave my hometown where a nosy bitch demands I go see my mum to pick up my poker gear. Tell my mum to do one and head off on my way. And for fuck's sake, Professor Elm decides to give me his number. I didn't want that, why do I need to have it? Maybe just fuck off and let me enjoy my own adventure like a real child would. I finally head off to begin my journey. Now, unlike Wanda, Snapper is actually a badass. He's a good physical attacker and looks cool as fuck. Now, with my new weapon of mass destruction, I start beating up the local wildlife, and after only 1 level, I obtain Water Gun. Talk about making this game easier. Back in the day when you had Squirtle, it took ages till we actually got Bubble, and Bubble is a shit move in comparison to Water Gun. I make it to Cherry Grove City, which I think is honestly the smallest city in the history of Pokemon. I'm met by a creepy old man who gives me the what's what of the Pokemon town, and then hands me a pair of his running shoes. See, this always made me laugh. Why do you need special shoes to run? Has evolution stopped at some point that does not allow man's basic features unless they're wearing special shoes? Also, you creepy bastard, how do you know they're my size? I head north and continue my animal cull. God, it feels refreshing not have to panic about getting bitched by everyone. I head off to Mr. Pokemon's house where he is visited by Professor Oak. Mr. Pokemon gives me an egg, which at the time was pretty revolutionary. However, a few generations onwards, I have so many eggs in my boxes I would rather make an omelette out of them. Professor Oak then somehow sees my potential in me and gives me a Pokedex. I feel sorry for him because I'm not going to be doing fuck all research for him, to be honest. Professor Elm then tells me to get my ass back to the lab because there's an emergency apparently. On doing this, I meet up with everyone's favourite ginger, no, not you, Silver. As Snapper has been levelling up, I easily beat his shitterita and send him packing. Back to the lab where the police immediately make me the prime suspect. I swear policing in Pokemon is a pile of shit. I call the rival Silver because for those who watch my channel I know I'm a big lover of Silver. After the apparent stress of losing one of his Pokemon, Professor Elm just lets me get on my merry way and start the Pokemon League Challenge. But before that, Lyra has to teach me how to catch Pokemon. Jesus Christ, I wish we could skip this because I've been doing this for a long time. I head north from Cherry Grove where I meet youngster Joey. I smack his Rattata into next week because he mocked me for being weak. However, I take pity on the dickhead and decide to give him my phone number. I make my way to Violet City and attack everything in my way to get my EXP up. And before I fight the gym leader, I've got to go to Sprout Tower. All the trainers here have Bellsprouts. Now if this was much later in the game, I'd be far more worried because of the type advantage they have against Totodile, but this serves as the first dungeon so it's not much of a threat. I make my way up to the Elder, who's already been beaten by Silver, but Silver can't be arsed fighting me, so he just buggers off, leaving me to fight the Elder. The fight is quite straightforward, and I just use Rage, which makes me stronger and stronger the more times I hit. His Hoot Hoot puts me to sleep, but it means nothing as I wake up and finish it off. And with that, the Elder gives me Flash, and I head off to the gym. I get to see Falkner, who is using Daddy's Pokemon, and I decide to go the Rage strategy just because the damage will keep building as the battle goes on. Pidgey falls in seconds, however Pidgeotto is a little harder to get down. God help if I was doing this run with Shitterita. Annoyingly, I end up losing the first time, and I was a tad miffed because, hey, it happens. I get to Pidgeotto again and lose again. This thing has Roost, like what the hell, it's the first gym. Could you imagine if Brock's Onix had Roost? Well, it can't have Roost, but you know, it had Recover or something. But somehow I'm able to take it down with a water gun. 1 badge down and 7 more to go. I meet my first kimono girl who goes ooh la la over my egg. Again, come see my other games and you'll be in a puddle of... I go to Union Cave, and because I'm a water type, this is an absolute piss-easy joke. Even Onix means absolutely nothing to me now. I reach level 18, and this is the first time I have to deny evolution, although I do love its final evolution, Fearalligator. I get out the cave and arrive in Azella Town, where we find Team Rocket taking over the Slowpoke well to cut off their tails to make some money out of it. Now in the Pokemon world, they're considered a delicacy, and this raises a few questions I've had for a while. Is the Pokemon world vegetarian or something? Because if not, they must eat Pokemon. In the anime, there is a clue of Ash getting really excited by the thought of eating a Magikarp, so I don't know. I meet Kirk, who's really a bit pissed off with the idea of Team Rocket, so he goes to give him a piece of his mind, but somehow injures his back on the way. Yeah, injures his back. Don't worry, Kurt, it's okay. Send a small child to do your work for you, you lazy bastard. I swear to God, adults are downright pathetic in the Pokemon series. I fight my way through where I meet the Team Rocket executive, Proton. Apparently he's the scariest member of Team Rocket, but he's about as scary as an eggy fart. So I save the day and Kurt agrees to make balls for me with my nuts, but again this is a service I'm not even going to be touching during this game. I head west where I meet up with Silver again. His team is still piss poor at this point. I one-shot his Ghastly with a bite, his shit leaf goes down in 2 Ice Fangs, and so does his Zubat. God, I freaking hate Zubat. Silver buggers off after having a tantrum and we head off to the Elix Forest, where I had to catch 2 Farfetch, which results in me getting access to Cut. But I always have fun getting that Farfetch, it's a little shit every time I try and catch it. But now, this is the first time in a run I get really annoyed because Snapper learns Cut, which means I have to get rid of one of my moves. Before I do that, I go back to the gym and play on some spiders. Oh, no, sorry, insects, they have 6 legs. Even so, whee! I get to Bugsy, who starts off with the bad boy Cypher. I was so confident about this fight, I didn't even heal. He uses his focus energy to get his critical hit rate up, which would normally scare the shit out of me. However, I have Ice Fang, and with 2 Ice Fang to take it down, leaving me to deal with a Metapod and a Kakuna. It still really pisses me off why they just didn't add a Butterfree and a Beedrill for this gym battle. Bug Pokemon are indeed tough, but Bugsy, you're a joke. So I finally do put Cut in, and because I'm not recording the bottom screen, I can't remember which one I deleted. It was either Bite or Rage or something like that. I continue on in the forest to meet one of the other kimono girls, so Snapper tells her where to do one and off she pops. I leave the forest with no Celebi and continue northbound, dodging trains so that I can't be arsed fighting. I turn up at the daycare centre where Lyra introduces me to her grandparents. Now I just leave their dirty sex house and get stopped by the police. For fuck's sake, the police are always making assumptions, so I do what I do best and fuck the police! No, I say this in jest. I love the police. I used to be in the police. I swear this is all in jest. I enter Goldenrod City and head straight for the casino. Why, you might ask? So I can play a shitload of Voltorb Flip. Now here's a bit of a history lesson for you. The first games in Red and Blue had slot machines in Celadon City, but they were dubbed too bad for children because of gambling, so they removed it for Voltorb Flip. I don't think children playing the roulette in Celadon City led to hardcore gamblers being created, which resulted in them turning to loan sharks and then having their legs broken because they can't keep up with the repayments. And also, Voltorb Flip is way more fun and way easier to make money. There's a website you can use which helps you get this money very quickly. Now, as you can't see the bottom screen, you just have to take my word for it. I eventually make enough coins so I'm able to obtain TM75, which contains Swords Dance. This allows Snapper to go up to Super Saiyan and destroy all life. Now when it comes to this, I'm not going to be saying level 1 Swords Dance, level 2 Swords Dance, level 3 Swords Dance, as that's boring, so I'm just going to say it's Super Saiyan 1, 2 or 3. That makes it much more fun, and obviously I love Dragon Ball Z. I immediately put this in place and now feel confident enough to take on anyone. I head to the radio tower, I show Whitney how stupid she is before heading to face her in the gym. I still have Bite. Okay, so my moves at this point are Swords Dance, Bite, Cut and Ice Fang. Well remembered, HBT. I fight off her cronies and get to Whitney herself. We remember this, don't we, when we were kids? How we strolled up thinking we were doing great. This game's a piece of piss, isn't it? And then bang, the fucking cow. I suspect, however, things will be different this time. At first she starts off with Clefairy as she normally does. I immediately start powering up and hope I get lucky with the moves it uses. Thankfully I do get lucky and I'm able to power up to Super Saiyan level 3. I bite it and it goes down in 1. Now it's the cow. It gets a flinch with Stomp, which is worrying because it's faster than me, but if it keeps it up I'm in trouble. Now I want to mock her so much, so I went for a Cut, which only does half damage. Jesus, that's a bulky cow. Miltank then uses a track, but my Snapper isn't interested in love, it only believes in pain, and cuts her to death. After Whitney crying, oh bitch, I get the 3rd badge and feeling like a god. Whilst in the city, I pick up my bike for free, and the egg hatches into Togepi. Yay. Finally, I pick up the squirt bottle from the flower shop to continue on with the story. I battle my way through the trainers on the way, and they don't really offer any resistance. I'm always surprised when other trainers aren't watching the other battles that are going on around them and think, yeah, I'm not having anything to do with that. I squirt all over that big wood Sudowoodo and it gets a little bit too excited. Thankfully an Ice Fang freezes it and that was the end of that. I enter Ecruteak City and enter the Burned Tower. God, Gold and Silver had some really cool locations. I run into Usain, who is after legendary dogs, who I can see on the floor below. Also, Morty's in there, who can't be arsed doing his job as a gym leader. Before I say hello to the doggies and give him a cuddle, Silver pops up wanting a beat down. At this point I still wasn't really worried at all. I crunch Ghastly and it goes down in 1. Base Shit goes down in a few Ice Fangs. Magnemite, however, did need me to go Super Saiyan 1 because it has now a Steel type advantage which heavily boosts its type resistance. Then the AI decides to use that usual Thunderwave Confusion bollocks shit, and it actually freaking works. Wanker. This time I power up straight away. Ghastly puts a curse on me, which means I'm on a timer, so I've got to get this done quick. Base Shit falls first time and Magnemite goes down in 2. I managed to finish the Zubat and I finished the battle with 3 HP. But if this was a non-story battle like a normal double battle, I would have lost because Curse carries over and doesn't stop just because you beat the last Pokemon. I somehow scare the legendary dogs off, but before they go, Suicune has a good sniff in my balls, and I then decide to head to Morty's gym. Speed is becoming a problem here because Totodile is very slow. Very, very slow. I do have the power though, as Crunch is able to wipe most things in 1. I get to Morty eventually. God, I hate this battle. I remember I did my first Nuzlocke recently and it ended because of him. I kill the Ghastly in 1 with a Crunch and then he sends out his Gengar. It straight away puts me to sleep and this is where the problems begin. The sleep condition. But I manage to wake up, survive a Sucker Punch and take it out. And then his Haunter comes out and he puts me to sleep and starts using that damn Dream Eater. Fuck's sake, it ruins my day and god damn I hate Morty. Next time I use a Swords Dance and he spites it, which was fine as it allowed a free Crunch to get rid of it. Gengar comes out and Sucker Punches, which allows for an easy kill. Time for the Bloody Haunter again, and again it does the same tactic and wins. Third time round I wake up after 1 turn of sleep and manage to put Haunter in its place. He sends out his final Haunter, who only uses Nightshade, and 1 Crunch and it was all over. Finally, thank God. I get my 4th badge and I can get the hell out of here. Before I leave Ecruteak City, I fight a Rocket Grunt who's clearly had too much to drink. I smack him around a bit and I receive Surf from some random old man who is having a little bit of a perv. I then quickly head east to bump into a hiker who gives me strength, and I also pick up the very useful TM Shadow Claw. I head southwest and start beating all the trainers to get the EXP and arrive at Olivine City. Silver comes out the gym because he's apparently doing the gym challenge now. Is he? Yeah, good luck to him. Anyway, he tells us about a sick Pokemon at the lighthouse, so as a qualified doctor slash vet slash Pokemon physician, either way, I immediately go out to investigate. However, before that, I have to fight a few lovely people who want nothing more to be cannon fodder for Snapper. I finally get to the top and meet with Jasmine, who asks a 10-year-old child to get medicine for her because her poor Amphy can't be left unattended. Now, think about this for a moment. You have a whole lighthouse full of people below and a Pokemon Center around the corner who can look after Amphy while you go get this medicine. Also, why is this medicine so damn good? I swear this is what is wrong with the UK health system. Privatising the NHS will be the death of us all. So now I have Surf, I have to teach it to a Pokemon, and of course Snapper learns it, so bye bye goes Crunch. I surf across the water and end in Cianwood City and immediately ignore my task I was meant to do and go straight for the gym. Now Chuck, oh Chuck. Well, at first he won't face me until I stop the water pouring his head, which means fighting through his lackeys to get there. Eventually I do stop the water flow and Chuck will get around to fighting me. He starts off with Primeape and is faster than me. He uses Focal Punch, which does a hell of a lot of damage. Even with 1 Swords Dance, I'm unable to finish it off in 1 hit. I do however get lucky with the freeze. I get it out of the way with the Surf and it's onto Poliwrath, who I can only hit with Cut due to it resisting my other moves. However, Poliwrath is faster than me as well and Cut doesn't even do half damage to it. I try again and this Poliwrath uses Hypnosis to just rub it in. I face a problem here because I cannot allow the Primeape to get a Focus Punch on me, and with it being faster, it's able to get the hit in. I decide that I'm going to have to grind, so I head to the top of Arn and fight Usain. Now, to make my day even worse, I fight his Electrode and it 1-hit KOs me with a Thunder. I was getting really pissed off as I hate grinding, but I don't think I've got a choice here. I grinded to level 40, which seemed to take forever fighting Tentacles and Tentacruels. I went back to fight Chuck again, and once again he was still quicker. I still faced the same problems again with the Poliwrath putting me to sleep. And after a good few attempts, I got lucky when Poliwrath didn't put me to sleep, but kept going for Focus Punch, and this was just a free hit. Thank God, because I was hating that battle. I received the Storm Badge and then I picked up Fly from his wife, as you do. However, I realised I didn't have a flyer, so I went after a Pidgey. Although whilst on the hunt to find a Pidgey, Entei decided to say hello. I threw a ball at him, but he didn't want to come join my journey. Oh, piss off then, you dickhead. I pick up my Pidgey and call him EasyJet. I went back to Jasmine with a mega powerful medication and it manages to help Amphi get back to normal and live its life of servitude in the lighthouse. Like, why the hell has Ampharos got to do that job? Ever heard of electricity? Surely this is animal cruelty at its highest. With everything now okay, I went to fight Jasmine in a gym and I was not looking forward to this one bit. I used Ice Fang and did absolutely nothing against a Magnemite and was wiped out by one Thunderbolt. I knew Ice Fang was not going to work, so I tried a different technique. I decided to use Surf. The first time it didn't finish him off in one, but it was close, but I wanted to keep trying, and the second time it was close again, the third time went down, thanks damage roll. I knew when this happened I was in Happy Street. Steelix was not a problem at all due to being park ground, and he had absolutely nothing to hurt me, and the huge beautiful snake went down. 6 badges in hand, 2 to go. I flew off to Ecruteak City again and travelled east to get to Mahogany Town. Gym badges are off the agenda for now as I have other stuff that needs to be done. I then remembered that I actually didn't go see Suicune at Cinewood City. Ah, poor Suicune. He's probably still waiting for me. I'm sorry my friend, but I am not the righteous trainer that you so desperately seek. I'm in fact a horrible, horrible human being. I head north towards Lake of Rage, smacking anything that comes my way for easy experience. I go say hello to the shiny red Gyarados who is wildly swimming around. I've always loved the design of the red Gyarados, it's absolutely gorgeous, but I have no interest in catching the thing so I do need to get rid of it. However, this wasn't as easy as I thought it was going to be because his Dragon Rage did 40 damage each time, and I actually ended up losing the first time around, which has never happened before. I've been playing this for years. It truly shows that you do not mess with a pissed off Gyarados. I remember the first shiny I actually caught from a non-event was a Gyarados. I laughed because I couldn't believe it. What are the chances of that? And the next one I caught after that was a Caterpie. Trust my luck. Second time round, I S-fanged it continuously and managed to freeze it twice, which gave me the win. Who said I wasn't a lucky bastard? Proud of myself, I go speak to Lance, who was watching the whole time, but obviously could not be asked to help. Lance, I'm a 10-year-old, you wanker. And then he flies off and leaves me. Yeah, don't worry mate, just abandon a 10-year-old. Jesus, Lance would be a shit dad. We then find the entrance to Team Rocket's headquarters where we witness Dragonite Hyper Beam a guy. Now surely that would kill someone, but this guy just takes it like a champ. This makes it clear that Lance would also murder someone if needs be. We enter the hideout, and whilst I did prefer this to Generation 1's hideout, the alarm system annoyed the shit out of me. Like the previous video, I have no problem getting through the grunts and scientists, they just bother me more than anything. I investigate more and find that 2 keys are needed to get inside the main room. Then Silver pops up and just happens to walk by and tell me he was able to fight Lance. Hang on, you came into the headquarters just to fight Lance. I then meet a Giovanni clone who turns out to be Patral, who, for trying to mock a legend, gets a whipping from yours truly. After his beating, he does the smart thing and refuses to give us the passcode. Now this is actually quite clever because all bad guys seem to do in these games are give up whatever they're holding secret, as if they're being tortured by the main character. If this was real, personally I would be torturing them off screen. Snapper be ripping off the tendons just to make them talk, or for fun, whatever I decided. He runs away, but his Murkrow knows how to speak human, which makes no sense whatsoever. We chase it round till it conveniently stands by the door and manages to open it. That's Pokemon X Machina, everybody. At that exact moment we have to fight another executive, Ariana, who creepily calls us baby, again the age. But Lance wants to team up this time and he has a level 40 Dragonite. You cheating bastard Lance. He's a guy who's meant to be the best of us, yet he has a fully evolved Dragonite at level 40, where the rest of us mortals have to wait till level 55. Do not use Let's Go Dragonite here as an example. He is getting a 10-year-old to do his bidding. What an absolute crap human being you are. Oh crap, yeah, we're in the middle of a battle here. So yeah, this is pretty easy when you have a Dragonite alongside you. The team goes down pretty easy, and then we have to hit that Murkrow who's just helped us out, which is a bit mean. We then have to turn off the radio transmitter by beating up the electrodes. Lance claims there's no switch, but honestly I don't think he even checked. So with the machine now off, I've saved the Pokemon in the lake, and for my troubles, Lance gives me Whirlpool. I take my leave and head for the gym. It's a slippy slidey gym, which I have to keep failing until I remember how to get through it all, but eventually I make my way to Price. I would love to know Price's energy bill for keeping that place as it is, because everything inside is pure ice, where it looked absolutely lovely outside. His team are nothing, and due to him not having any type resistances, allows me to power to Super Saiyan level 2. Then I get a miss on Surf, which messes up things dramatically. His Aurora Beam takes me down to 1 HP, and then I miss with a cut. How? The hail is gone. Hacks! Hacks! I try once again and go to Super Saiyan 2. This time, however, Surf does not miss Poliwhirl, and Dugong rests, which results in him being cut to death in its sleep, which, when you think about it, is quite grim. Just one more badge to go, but oh no, I get a phone call from Professor Elm saying to get my ass to the radio tower in Golden City. I get there and Team Rocket have taken over the radio tower, and once again there are no police anywhere. I swear to God, Officer Jenny is absolutely useless. I get to the tower and a Team Rocket grunt won't let me up due to official business. So I head a few doors down, and conveniently I just literally walk up to somebody and they give me a Team Rocket uniform, and personally I think I look really great in it. Silver ruins the great disguise, and me just taking it off apparently causes alarm to everyone. It seems like no uniform means no fun for anyone. I enter the tower and start clearing house, and make my way up to Betrayal, where he's pretending to be the director. Annoyingly, I ended up losing this battle because due to smokescreen I couldn't hit the bastard, and his sludge along with the poisoning actually finished Snapper off. Second time round, no such problem, as I remembered Coughing is a physical defensive tank, but has poor special defense, so I just flooded the building with water, and that was that. I headed to the underground lair to try and rescue the director, where Silver thought that this was the best time for a Pokemon battle. Are you fucking kidding me? Seriously, are you fucking high? Now, due to me be silly and not healing, I ended up losing because his Haunter was faster than me. I fight him again and get to Sneasel, but I'm undone by Haunter's curse finishing me off. Third time round, Shittium hits me with a critical Petal Dance. Oh, for fuck's sake. Fourth time round, I'm beaten by Feint Attack Sneasel. Fifth time by Petal Dance. Sixth time, Quick Attack. Seventh time, Petal Dance, and it wasn't even a crit. Eighth time, Haunter just fucked me off. Ninth time, Petal Dance again. 10th time, I got confused and pissed off, so I reset. 11th time, I managed to get a critical surf on the Sneasel and sent my rival packing. I am seriously the best trainer alive ever. I continue onward through the basement and free the director, who gives me the keycard I need to climb the rest of the radio tower. En route, I beat Proton, who I've not really seen since his cooking business went downhill, and stroll past him. Then I meet Crippy Arion again, who manages to get Snapper paralysed with Arbok. I then missed a crucial Ice Fang on the Vileplume, which meant I had to reset. I then got pissed off because I had to redo all the underground basement stuff again. I get my ass back up there again, and this time I do get the Ice Fang on the Vileplume. Murkrow offers nothing and it's sent crashing to Earth. I then meet Archer, who has taken over where Giovanni had previously abandoned it. He first starts off with a Houndour. Oh, for fuck's sake, come on, you're meant to be the boss here, at least start off with a Houndoom. Then he uses Coughing. Oh, come on, this is a bit of a joke now. And then he sends out, oh, okay, you do have a Houndoom. But why don't you send that first then? Why don't you have a whole team of them? The battle is done and he disbands Neo Team Rocket like his master before him. And the director gives me the Silver Wing as thanks, which I'll need to go to get the Box Legendary. I head east of Mahogany Town and into the ice path where it's more slippy fun but no trainer battles. I push some rocks around and help a damsel in distress and slide out the door. However, I did make sure I picked up Waterfall before I left. Finally, I have a physical water move for Snapper. I arrive in Blackthorn City and head straight for the gym. The cronies are easy enough to deal with because of Ice Fang, but Claire is a different monster altogether. And the problem once again comes down to Snapper's speed. This allowed Gyarados to go first, and with it using Dragon Rage meant the battle was over in 4 moves. Even at Super Saiyan 2.5, I couldn't finish it with an Ice Fang in 1 hit. I was at a complete loss at what to do as I refused to go get Thunder Punch at the Battle Frontier because I felt this would be very situational. My next strategy was to use Ice Fang straight away and hope to get a lucky freeze, but then I was relying on Gyarados staying frozen while I power up, and it was just not feasible. I did some grinding to level 55 to try and get that extra speed, power and bulk, but the Dragon Rage didn't really care for any of that. Then I remember that I had earlier picked up Shadow Claw, a move which would hit practically everything. It had better accuracy, better power, and a high critical hit chance. I finally got rid of Cut from the move deleter and replaced it with Shadow Claw. With my new power, I tried going Super Saiyan 1 and then hoped for a critical on Shadow Claw. After a lot of tries, it eventually worked. I passed the Dragonairs very easily, but then the Kingdra was also faster and finished me off with a Dragon Pulse. I did some more grinding to get to level 60, and this time I was now faster than Gyarados, which meant I could power up to Super Saiyan 2 and then go for the kill, but this was simply down to damage rolls if I could finish it in 1. I worked out I had to be able to kill it in 1 or I'd have to reset. I got to the final battle with 60 HP remaining, and Kingdra's Dragon Pulse did not finish me off, but I couldn't kill it with a single Shadow Claw. The next time, Dragon Pulse finished me off with no critical. To beat Claire, the following had to happen. A Super Saiyan 2 Shadow Claw had to finish the Gyarados off in 1, the Kingdra's Dragon Pulse would not do more than 60 HP, and that my Shadow Claw onto the Kingdra was in fact a critical. It took a while, but I was finally able to get the combination to make it happen. Thank you, Arceus. Like Whitney, Claire moans and sends me off to Dragon's Den to get questioned by some old men before she realises the errors of her ways and gives me her badge. It makes me think, does anyone actually complete the gym badge if she acts like such a bitch? With 8 badges out of the way, Professor Elm asks me for a cup of tea, where he then gives me the Master Ball. How he got that, I'm never going to know. He then tells me that the Kimono Girl's looking for me, but personally, I don't really want to see them. I try and go east to fight the Elite Four, but I'm stopped by Lyra. So this looks like this is all mandatory story-related bollocks. I head back to Ecruteak City and meet the girls where I have to fight all their Eevees one after another. However, we run into a problem. Well, 2 actually, Espeon and Jolteon. Both hit hard and are faster than me. I find out there is no way I can tank a hit from Espeon and also the Jolteon, and you can't heal in between a fight. I make light of the situation and realise that this is actually a good way to level grind. I just keep fighting the Umbreon, Espeon and Flareon and then just lose the Jolteon as I get good experience off them. Eventually using this method I get to level 66, and at this point I'm faster than the Espeon and take it down. I get to the Jolteon, who decides to double team rather than kill me, unless the AI knows it cannot take me down in 1. I managed to get rid of Jolteon, and Vaporeon is simply a pushover. Before I carry on with the next story bit, I get a phone call off youngster Joey who wants a rematch, and you know what? I decide to go give him a fight. And to be fair, the boy comes with Raticate. He still dies in one, but at least he's trying. Before I go to the Whirl Islands, I need someone who uses Flash. I asked Raikou to join, but he didn't want to, so I got a Bellsprout instead. I go to the Whirl Islands and watch the Kimono girls do the little dance around my bell, and it summons Lugia before me. I'll make this clear, Lugia is ace. I imagine I'm going to need to capture the thing, so I threw my Master Ball at it. Sorry guys, no Pidgey catching today. With the story now out the way, I head east from New Bark Town and land in Kanto. I go through the Tojo Falls quite quick because I can't be bothered exploring it. On the way to Victory Road, I start fighting much better trainers and much better Pokemon, but the levels are far too low to bother battle-hardened Snapper. Victory Road is as easy as anything because there's no trainers to fight. Although just before we exit, Silver decides to fight us one more time. Snapper has a big advantage now as he's a higher level and is able to power up to Super Saiyan 2 with no problem. Waterfall easily gets rid of Sneasel, however Ice Fang was now out of my arsenal, so I use Shadow Claw to get one crit on Shitanium. Waterfall saw off Magneton, Haunter, and Kadabra was slower, thank god, so he went down as well. Finally his Golbat fell with no problems as well. Silver starts to realise his ways of being a dickhead gets you nowhere, and this is why I like him. He actually shows character development throughout his story. So now on to the Elite Four, and unlike Wanda, I actually knew I would get here eventually. Snapper and I walk in knowing that Will is no threat whatsoever. I power up to Super Saiyan 1 and start Shadow Clawing knowing his whole team is weak to it. One by one they all fall until they're no more. Snapper is an absolute living hero. I move on to Koga, who's got a promotion following the last game. I'm not too worried about Koga, and luckily I get one boost up, and that's all I need to waterfall his team to death. Bruno is another one who I'm not threatened by whatsoever. His team is so shit they all go down in one. So far, the first 3 Elite Four members have been very disappointing, and I've not really broken a sweat. Next was Karen, who finally posed a challenge. She sends out Umbreon, the defensive tank that comes equipped with Double Team and Confusion to try and ruin my day. As always, when it comes to these things, it ultimately does. A Super Saiyan Shadow Claw is not enough to get rid of her Vileplume, and I have to reset. Second time round, I go to Super Saiyan 2, and then she becomes a walk in the park. The Elite Four is done, and now it's on to the man of the hour, the worst human being ever, Lance. I get to Gyarados and have to Swords Dance thanks to it using Intimidate, however thankfully he is only able to use Dragon Pulse, which doesn't really do a lot of damage. I got to Super Saiyan 2.5 and Gyarados goes down one Shadow Claw. Then Dragonite comes out and bang! Thunders me to death in one, and this is where it gets unfun. I attempted to do this many times but just couldn't get anywhere with it. I realised that I'm not going to be able to beat Lance at this level, and he still has 2 more Dragonites in the back, so I ended up losing on purpose. I even gave Big Pidgey a run out, and look how he fails. Oh my god, look how much Aeroblast does. That's pathetic. I decide to keep fighting the Elite Four again to get the experience, as the amount you get is good and it's relatively easy. I get to level 74 and then start fighting his Dragonite, and then it finally missed a Thunder, allowing me to get a quick easy kill. His second Dragonite comes out and thankfully I beat that too. Then his Aerodactyl used Thunderfang and it got a flinch, the bastard. But progress was being made. I got to Aerodactyl again and one-shotted it with his Surf, and then his final Dragonite came out. This was the big one. I used Shadow Claw and even was at Super Saiyan 2.5 and he took it. Jesus Christ, what a monster. It then outraged me to death. I was gutted, but then I thought, what about the damage roll? And I tried it again, and this time it did go down. Lance's final Pokemon was Charizard, which went down to a Surf first time, and happy days, Snapper has done it. He's beaten the Elite Four and joined the ranks of legends such as Wanda. We run away from the TV cameras so Lance can take me to his private den to register me as the league champion. So, reflection time. Did I enjoy this? Yes, a lot more than the fish. But as before, there is post-game, so we've just got to get straight on with it. I arrive back in my house and my mum tells me to go see Professor Elm. Literally walks up to my face to do so. Just tell me from across the room, or is that hard? I go see Professor Elm, who gives me the SS tickets, which will help me get to Kanto. I go off to start my next adventure where Professor Oak just happens to be waiting for me. The absolute creep. How long has he been waiting there for? Weirdo. I get on the SS Aqua and we set off. Before we land, I have to find a sailor who's been slacking off, and find a lost child who's been playing with the captain. Seriously, where the fuck is the security in this place? I land in Vermilion City and Cut is now back in my arsenal, and sadly I have to trade it in for Swords Dance as I can't get rid of Surf and Waterfall for the time being. I attempt to go fight Lieutenant Surge, and his team are at a really good level and have annoying abilities such as Static. I try multiple times to beat Lieutenant Surge, but I only get as far as Electabuzz, and I'm usually paralysed at this point, which means I get Shockwave to death. I try to go after Sabrina to cheer me up, but her Espeon does a shit ton of damage, and I know she has Alakazam still in the back, which will be faster than Snapper. However, Shadow Claw can't even kill it in one, so I'm already buggered before I really start. So, to sum this all up, my trip to Kanto is going brilliant so far. I I decide that I need to open up the whole area as the Kanto poke game is very small. I complete the side quest to get the magnet train going by returning the stolen part from the Team Rocket member to the power plant. I then obtain the updated radio card that allows me to play the Poker Flute song on the radio to wake up the Snorlax. And honestly, I think I pressed pause and forgot to record this bit. Sorry everyone. Well, to let you all know, I just knocked it out and it moved out the way, allowing me to go get through Diglett's tunnel. I visited the whole of Kanto, so it meant I was able to fly around and fight whichever gym leader I want in whatever order I decided. I took on Brock's helpers, who were very easy considering my typing, although I was impressed with the levels they both had. Imagine if they were like this in Red and Blue, you wouldn't get past the first gym for hours. Brock was as easy as I thought he was going to be. Even though his team was impressive, it couldn't handle my water moves and the team was very, very easy. I moved on to the Sea Foam Islands, where Blaine and his scientists were now hiding out. A volcano has wiped out Cinnabar Island and they all lived here now. As you can imagine, due to the type advantage, this was very easy as well. If I had been a grass type, this would have been a lot harder, let me tell you. Next, I tackled Koga's daughter, Janine, and thought this was going to be a double team, toxic, poison nightmare, but it was relatively straightforward and I beat it first time. Nothing much to report here apart from keep calm and use waterfall. Is that a thing anymore? I swear I saw it all arranged in 2017. I headed back to Cerulean City and like the little perv I am, I tried to see what Misty was up to. I obviously caught them doing something because their date ran away like he was off to prison or something. My fight against Misty was annoying because I was not doing the damage needed. Her Pokemon were quite bulky and Golduck has Disable, which means I'd have to rely on Cut for a few turns. I realised to do this I'm going to have to go back to Johto, so I got back on the train and went back to the game corner, played Voltorb, Flip a lot more, and rebought Swords Dance. This time things were going to be so much different. I challenged Misty again and I went to Super Saiyan 1 before the Golduck disabled the move, so I had to rely on Shadow Claw, which got it down in 2 hits. Eventually Disable ran out and I was able to get to Super Saiyan 2. I took a chance and went all the way to Super Saiyan 3 and was able to take another Earthquake from its Quagsire. I managed to get rid of the Quagsire and it was on to the Lapras, who went down after 1 Shadow Claw. Finally Starmie came out and even though it was faster, Ice Beam couldn't finish the job and Misty fell to her knees in defeat. Next it was time for my secret love Erica. I wasn't really concerned at all because I knew I was going to be faster, or so I thought. I got to Super Saiyan 2 relative ease and then was able to start wiping her team out, and then she brought out Victreebel who outsped me and used Leaf Storm to finish me off. God damn it, Victreebel is so underrated. I tried again and this time it all goes perfectly. They all fall in 1 as before, but this time I'm actually faster than Victreebel and it goes down in 1 as well. Oh, we're getting so close to the end now. And now I've got my power back and on a much higher level. The battle against Sabrina is going to go a bit differently. I went against Espeon for some reason went for a Calm Mind, which led to its demise. Alakazam decides to use Reflect, which absolutely saves his bacon big time, and now I'm going to struggle to finish it off. It also has Energy Ball. Like, why the fuck has it got Energy Ball? It's a grass move for God's sake. But it uses it and it manages to finish me off. Second time round, knowing what happened the first time, I used Swords Dance when it reflects, hoping it would give me the edge. And by doing this, I was able to then use Shadow Claw and finish it in 1. Mr. Shit is all she has left, and what the fuck? It's faster! And luckily I managed to hang on, and it actually took a Super Saiyan 2 Shadow Claw. I absolutely couldn't believe it. Sabrina used 2 full restores to get it back to full health, and I managed to finish it on a crit. Now here's a strange one. Had the AI actually ignored its programming on the fact that I was at low health so it needed to use a full restore, it would have actually won the battle because it was faster than me. Humans 1, computers 0. Screw you, Skynet. I went after Lieutenant Surge, and his Pokemon just started double teaming rather than trying to finish me off. I don't know why the AI just doesn't go all out. Raichu falls really easily, as do the Electrode. Electrode uses light screens for some odd reason, and Magneton comes out and starts double teaming as well. Maybe once you get past a certain point, the AI just shifts in defensive mode. In this case, it definitely backfired, and I managed to beat him first time round. I fly back to Cinnabar Island to meet the coolest guy ever, Blue, who tells me that he's ready to fight me at the Viridian City Gym. He makes me laugh because he calls the Johto gyms pathetic, which is kinda true, they were, and then we begin our battle. He started as Executor, who I thought I was going to one-hit KO with a Shadow Claw, but oh no, it takes it and then one-hit KOs me with Leaf Storm. Christ's sake, not again. So once again, I'm relying on RNG to help me out. To beat Executor, I need either a critical Shadow Claw or for his Leaf Storm to miss. After a good few many attempts, the latter finally happens and I take it out the next turn. Raiden comes out and I gamble and go to Super Saiyan 1, thinking I'm going to need it for his Gyarados and Arcanine because they have Intimidate. Raiden does Earthquake, nearly getting rid of half of Snapper's health, so I decide to Swords Dance again. This time he goes for Stone Edge, which misses, thank God. Raiden is then hit with Waterfall and it's sent on its merry way, as is Machamp, who I was worried would survive it, but it didn't, thank God. He then sends out Arcanine, who knocked me back with Intimidate, but I managed to get rid of it with a Waterfall. He then sends in Pidgeot, and I try to get my attack up again, thinking about the Gyarados, and he uses Whirlwind and brings out Easy Jet. I can't believe it and have a laugh to myself, but I let it stand, because in reality, this battle has now become harder, because my attack is back to 0, Snapper comes back into battle, and I just go for Super Saiyan 1, and Waterfall is able to knock it out in 1. Finally, it is Gyarados, and I've got bugger all health left. He sends my attack down one stage. It really does come to this final attack. I outspeed him and manage to use Shadow Claw, but it doesn't kill him. But then he uses Return, which doesn't kill Snapper. Because of that, I'm able to finish him off the next turn with Shadow Claw. This was so much fun, Blue, and I no doubt will see you again, my friend, in future games. Blue gives us the final badge, and now we have all the badges. I go see Professor Oak, gives me Rock Climb, and gets me the authorization to go climb Mount Silver. Who made him the Mount Silver Police? I'm the goddamn Pokemon champion, for God's sake, I should be able to do what I want. So I climb up Mount Silver, and we all know what for. I remember doing this playing Pokemon Gold and before the internet spoilers came, and I had no idea what was coming, and I honestly thought it was one of the best gaming moments of my life. The reason why, for those who don't know, was to meet the final challenger and possibly one of the hardest challenges in the Pokemon history. I challenged the Great One, the one and only Red, to a Pokemon battle to the death. I sent out Snapper, and he sends out Pikachu. I go for a Swords Dance, and he just, shit, he's at a really high level, and he's faster than me, and he just Volt Tackles me to death. Shit. You know what, Red, fuck you. I've had enough of Snapper holding back. I realised it was time to unleash him to the world and got him to level 100. I try Red the Bastard again, knowing that I just need to get rid of this Pikachu to stand a chance. But even being level 100, this Pikachu is still faster and it just one-shots me again with Volt Tackle. And that, sadly, is that. There is simply nothing I can do here. With it being faster, he will always get the first hit in. Red's Pikachu also has a Light Ball equipped, which means his special attack is doubled, so even a Spark's gonna wipe out poor old Snapper. So can you beat Pokemon Soul Silver with just a Totodile? Well, again, kinda. I beat the story mode, but once again, Red stopped the challenge in its tracks like the dick he is. I will admit, however, I enjoyed this a hell of a lot more than I did the Wonder Challenge. I did try and see if there were any other moves that could help, but the only priority move available to Totodile is Aqua Jet, which is an egg move, which meant that I couldn't use it. So sadly, I don't think there's a way for me to beat Red with the rules I've set, but feel free to prove me wrong. So that's 2 challenges done, and Project Carl is on the horizon for Pokemon Emerald. Thank you everyone for the comments for the Wonder video, it's meant a hell of a lot. And for those who have stuck around to watch the whole video, thank you so much again, and I really hope you've enjoyed it. I've been HBT, and he's been my Super Saiyan Snapper. Until next time everybody, bye bye.